Hey, what's up guys? Today I have a tier list for the best board breakers in the format against, well, the meta decks. So I want to start off by saying this is against the meta, so it's mainly going to be against like Yummy, Vanquish K9, and then like Malice, and then like Mitsurugi Razel. So starting off with a Droplet, I think this is one of the best board breakers in the format. It's pretty much good against all the decks, which is like a good sign of a board breaker, and it just does a lot, right? It's against Vanquish K9. Okay, so against the decks, like these board breakers may not solo the deck by themselves, but paired with like other cards, like other hand traps, like Mochami or Joel, or other board breakers they pop off. If you can like use a Mochami to slow down Malice, like a Droplet can like be really impactful. Droplet against Razel deals with the Mitsurugi card, deal with Murakumo, deals with Detonator. Against Yummy, if you stop their them from getting the Arc Light, Droplet goes crazy. Even if you don't, Droplet can still have some value. Against Vanquish K9, if you like limit them to their half board, Droplet also trades really well as well. So I think Droplet's just a really good card overall. Also, it's playable going first too, which is really nice. Next card, Fenrir. I'll put Fenrir in Situational. In theory, it's not bad. Like against Yummy, it's actually really good going second because you summon it, and then when they use their monster effects to play, you can. It's your turn player, so you do like Chamming 1 Fenrir, and you can still like it still removes the card, and because it has high attack, it's like really cool. But the issue with Fenrir is that it's not, how do I word this? It kind of conflicts with a lot of other decks. Like if you're playing Vanquish K9, it conflicts with Bazuna, it conflicts with Holy Su, like going second, which is a little bit awkward, you know. And if you're playing Yummy, well, it conflicts with Obedient School, it conflicts with like Engage. So I think the only deck that really can play it right now is like, is what's the name of that deck? I'm blanking on the name, sorry. It is Dracotel, you know, so. Look at the Razel conflicts with like X Razel, yada. But yeah, so that's why it's situational. Pankertops, I think Pankertops I'll put in solid. It's really mainly just for the Yummy matchup, but it's really good against Yummy. So I think it's like a solid card to have. Also against Yummy, it's cool because it outs both the floodgates and the field, right? Because Yummy can play Rivalry and Gozen match. So like if you're playing Vanquish K9, it's kind of weird because you auto lose to those cards. So you want to be able to deal with them. But the issue is that if they don't draw the floodgate, you don't want to have like a dead card like a Cosmic Cyclone. So Pankertops is really good because it's like multi-purpose, it's flexible. Alpha, the Master of Beasts. I'll put it in Lackluster. It being a free body is cool, but so many decks just have ways to deal with monsters like on summon. So I don't think Alpha's that great. Chalice in Lackluster too. I think it's a cool alternative to like Droplet if your deck can't afford it. It makes me like useful going first and second, like Droplet, because when they like Holy Su or Azuna. The issue with Chalice is that they can chain effects to it. So like if against Vanquish, they can chain like a Borger or a Caesar. Yummy, they can chain the monster effects, you know, like Snatchy or whatever. So it can be a bit weird there, but it's still like okay. Change Heart Mind Control. I'll put Mind Control right here. Sorry. Oops. Change Heart Mind Control. I'll just put them in Lackluster. They don't really do anything. I'll put them in unplayable. Don't play these cards. And then also unplayable, I'll put in Soul Release. Dark Ruler, I'll put in Situational. It's cool like combined with some cards. Like if your opponent goes like the big Vanquish Soul board and overextends, Dark Ruler can trade with a lot of cards there. Against Yummy, it's like pretty decent, especially if they do like the double Arclight board. Dark Ruler is really solid there. But I would only play Dark Ruler probably if you like, how do I word this? Only play Dark Ruler if you're on like a full board breaker approach. Book of Eclipse, I think this card can be good. In theory, it's not bad. The issue with Book of Eclipse is that a lot of decks have ways to play like in the middle of the turn. So you want to be playing this in the deck where you don't mind booking your own boards, like a fusion deck. You know, if they go like Holy Su, summon, you can like you want to like Eclipse to like stop some stuff, like stop them from like Caesar returning like a Raisin or whatever. If they go Azuna, it can stop that, but the issue is that you book your own board, right? So you want to be playing in a fusion deck where you don't mind booking your board. So that's what makes it situational. Against Yummy, it can be cool too when they go like Snatchy effect to Synchro. You can book their board so they don't have anything to Synchro with. Unless they have like a token on board. A Hornet Jump token. That would be very unfortunate. But yeah, so Book Eclipse is pretty decent, but it's very situational. And Econ, I'll put Econ in Lackluster. I don't think it really does much. Decks just have too many ways to like tag out like the Yummy synchros, like the Vanquishable stuff. I don't think it's that great. Evenly match, I'll put evenly in situational. It can be, I almost want to put it in lackluster for real. And Yummy, it kind of feels meh, but it's still like playable, I guess, especially if they set multiple back row. Against Vanquishable K9, the evenly match is going to be, if they go for the big board, it's like okay. You know, getting rid of the field spell is nice too. But they have so many resources after that, though, it's still hard to win in like the grind game. So I'm gonna put it in lackluster, actually. It's like a lackluster. Kurara, I'm gonna put it in lackluster, but it could be like situationally good. This is mainly a card for in Yummy. I mean, technically Vanquishable can play if it's a fire, but I think it's mainly a card in Yummy. Okay, so the issue with Kurara is that you don't remove disruption from using Kurara, generally speaking, which is like a problem. Although in Yummy it's cool because it's also an extender because it is a level 1. So when you Kurara, you can turn that into Anima. So it's kind of playable in Yummy. It's also another Liger out. But yeah, I don't think it's too great. A Lava Golem. I'll put Lava Golem in a bit lackluster. Technically, against Yummy, you can out like double Arclight. Or against Vanquishable, you can out like, if they go for like a full end board, you can out that. But it's not too great. Metaltronus, I think Metaltronus is really solid right now, I'm not gonna lie. I think, well, actually, I'll put in situational because it's not a card I would main deck. But I think it's pretty cool. It's good against a lot of decks. Against Rival, you can hit Detonator, Murakumo, like Gorgon or whatever. Against against Yummy, if you're playing, it's really good if you're playing Yummy in Yummy for the mirror match. You can hit like a lot of cards, which is really nice. If you're playing, I've been testing it in Vanquishable too, because in Vanquishable, you can side it in and then put like a Snatchy in your extra deck. So you can use it against Yummy, and then also in the mirror, in theory, it's insane. It can be a little bit awkward though, because they can chain other monster effects. So they have like Caesar or Borger, you might get cooked. But it deals with Zuna though on your turn. And Holy Soup, they don't have Caesar or Borger. So that's pretty cool. I mean, even if you do have Caesar or Borger, you can like let it resolve and then use it later, but it's a little bit weird. But yeah. Raeki. I'll play Raeki in situational. I think it can be like good against some decks. Against the Yummy deck, but don't have like Arclight, is pretty decent. Puts them down with just Surprise for their engine. Against Vanquishable, you can remove the Ripper, which also removes like Force Liberation unless they have Zuna into it. You can remove like the Masquerade if they have it, or like another rank 5 if they have it. So it trades pretty decently. I have it on my Scash Record list right now. Salesban, situational. Salesban is pretty solid right now, I think. Against Yummy, against their half board, you can call like Snatchy, and it can kind of like stop a lot of their disruption. Against Vanquishable, against like their smaller board, you can call like Raisin or some Holy Sue as well. So it's not too bad. And against Rizal, Mitsurugi, you can call like Detonator, obviously. The Kaijus, there's not like one card that should be that does a lot, so lackluster. Lightning Storm, I'll put Lightning Storm in pretty solid. I think it's just solid against like every deck. Malice, Rizal, Mitsurugi, Yummy, Vanquishable K9. It's just solid against every deck, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, especially if you're on a board breaker approach. So I think Lightning Storm is just like really good overall. Super Poly, I'll put it in situational. It's mainly just for Yummy. Against Yummy, you can summon Mud Dragon or Garura, and Mud Dragon is especially good against Yummy because so it only does out Arclight, but also against Yummy, the Mud Dragon is really hard to out. All the disruption targets, so you can like turn off their disruption against your deck. Also, in general, they just might not be able to out the Mud Dragon. They can play around Super Poly by ending on double Arclight with Surprise Set, but they're not really doing that play, to be honest. And then that plays can be fragile with like other cards, like a Dark Ruler, for instance. They get cooked by, so I mean, they get cooked by it anyway. But yeah, so there's that. Thunder go crazy against that too. Tactics, I'll put Tactics in situational. It's a pretty decent card overall. A lot of decks have ways to play on your turn, so Tactics on like your turn is pretty cool as well. And speaking of that, I will put Thrust up there in solid. Thrust is kind of cool. Like I said, decks have ways to play on your turn, so you can Thrust for like Engine. If you're playing like Yummy, often they'll like interact with like your normal summons, like a Holy Sue, even though they should be waiting for the Link 1. But people don't for some reason. I mean, regardless of when they do it, you can go like Thrust for like Obedient School, and they do a lot there. So being able to Thrust for Engine is really cool. The deck card's not really that good in Vanquishable, but in Yummy, I think it's pretty nice. In terms of thrust targets when you go first, there's Crush Card Virus for the Vanquishable matchup, D-Barrier obviously for the Synchro and Fusion decks. Black Goat is another target as well. And yeah, going second, Thrust is pretty solid. If you're playing Yummy, just searching Obedience School, going second is like so good, I'm not gonna lie. Like that just does so much against like every deck. And Obedience School is like really good into like every half board. If you're playing as Malice, then like 2 banishes path, like sure, Obedience School. You know? I mean, they can banish the field spell, but you can still do like a lot though, so I think you just don't even go for the field spell early, probably, to like play around it. But yeah, I think it's a really good card going second, too. If it's depending on the deck you're playing. If you're playing Engine, you can grab. And Draco Tail is also not bad as well. The only thing in Draco Tail is that it's not a monster, so also you need to be playing non-Engine to stop like the Arclight and full boards, but it's still decent. Ultimate Slayer, I'll put Ultimate Slayer. I probably want to put in Lackluster. It can be solid though, like if you're playing against like. It can out like double Arclight technically against Vanquishable to go for the full board. It trades okay into that. But against like some of the other disruption that they have, it doesn't really do much against. It goes Vanquishable and the Yummy deck. And against like Ryzel, it can out Detonator, but it doesn't really do a Murakumo. So it's a bit lackluster for that. Vesper Girsu, I think like the decks, they don't really care about having too many monsters, so I don't think Vesper Girsu is that great right now. Gordian Slicer, I'll put in lackluster as well. This card's kind of mid. Also for Super Poly, I forgot to mention, it's playable against Draco Tail as well. For like Secretarium Dragon, Mud Dragon, or Draco Spelia, or cards like those. But yeah, that was it. If you enjoyed the tier list, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. Yeah, take care.